Hi, this is John Barclay. Welcome back for another podcast. Recently, someone had seen this image on a blog post I had done and were wondering about how I had done some of the processing. So I thought this would be a good image to do just that. And what I had done is I added a little bit of texture to grunge up the image a little bit. And what some may or may not have known is I actually added some clouds in through layering of some textures as well, and then added a border with a wonderful product from our friends at OnOne software. I've not introduced much of their products and haven't had the time, and so this is going to be a great time to introduce you to PhotoFrame Professional, which has a great volume of frames and choices that you can use. It's a great product. So let's get started. First thing I wanted to do was add a little bit of clouds to fill up this bald blue sky. So I brought up my favorite Totally Rad plugin, where I can go out and pick my texture here. If you want to know more about this product, you can go look at another podcast that I've done which speaks more robustly about it. But I chose this, and you'll see it do its work in the background here, excuse me, and add in some sky. Some clouds. And I'll make them a little more robust, but you'll notice that it's also affecting the rest of the image, which I don't want to do. Not to worry. We'll go ahead and accept this, and we're going to use a mask. However, notice that Totally Rad puts in a mask for you, but this is only going to mask out the texture, but not necessarily the soft tonality. So what you're going to have to do is click on this layer that is automatically generated by Totally Rad, and then come down into your icon here that says add a layer mask, and add a layer mask there. Now I'm going to go over here and make sure that I'm painting with either black or white. Remember to reveal or conceal something that has been done on that layer. So I'm going to hit my X key to toggle over to black, and then I'm going to start to paint out. You're going to have to bear with me. Those of you who follow my blog will know that I just had a bike accident, and I'm left-handed, and I fell on my left arm, and so I'm in a splint trying to paint here left-handed and right-handed, and it's not going to go real well, folks, but you're going to get the idea. I'm going to paint out at 100% opacity, which is up here. I can change the opacity of what I paint with as well. And that's going to get rid of that, the sky, if you will, that I put in there, the clouds, in this area, and only leave them in the sky where I want the clouds to be. And then I wanted to add kind of a grungy feel to this, so I went back and I added yet another texture layer. So let's go back to Totally Rad. Excuse me. And we'll go pick something else. And here's where you can just play. There is no right or wrong choice. There's just different choices. And you go until you find something that appeals to you. I think what I used was back here a little ways. Something in this nature to add a little bit of warm tonality in with it. So let's go ahead and just pick this. And again, just real quickly, because I have other videos to do this, but we can change the opacity of how this layer looks, or this texture will look, and we can change the blending modes to different modes to give us different looks as well. And in this case, maybe that's a little more subtle look. In multiply is going to give us a little different look. It's your choice how you want that to look. We'll leave it at hard light on this one, and we're going to do the same thing again. We'll accept this. We're going to do the same thing again. It's going to create these layers, but I'm going to want it not to be affecting my building as much. So I'll go to this particular layer over here, add a layer mask, make sure that I'm painting with black or white, hit my X key to paint with black, and bring this back to its original. Again, if you don't want to do this, that's your choice. I'm just trying to point out the techniques here. This is not about creating a perfect image in this podcast. It's about giving you the tools so that you can then choose to do things as you wish. So we're going to leave it at that because it gets a little sore here with the elbow to keep painting. And then I'm just going to go ahead and collapse these layers and say that we're done with the grunging technique. I think you should have the idea now as to how that works. Now we want to go ahead and put a border around this, so we'll go up to PhotoFrame Professional. Of course, it helps if I select that. And you'll see what we're presented here in the OnOne software package. We have a plethora of frames. And thankfully what they do is they give us a lot of choices as far as, or categories rather, so that we can break down how we view these and limit them. So now we just have just this many in the acid burn. If we look in acid burn controlled, it narrows it down a little more. Corrugated brush, grunge, whatever your taste is in frames, they have it. And so we'll stick right here with this acid burn controlled is what I used, something like this. We'll double click that, and it's as simple as that, and it puts a beautiful border on this picture. And then we apply that, and it'll go through, and there you go. So a couple of tools. Totally Rad's texture capability is really nice to have, and then you need to learn how to use your layers and masking specifically to take in or out the texture as you see it. Keep in mind that you can change the opacity when you paint, so if you want to leave a little bit of texture behind, that's your choice. And then if you like these types of frames and edges and want to make it really easy, I can't recommend OnOne's high enough. That's a great product in their suite of products. They have a whole suite of products. And yes, if you're looking to buy any of these, there are discounts on my discount page on the blog for Totally Rad and or for the OnOne software product. And one last thought, just because you do these techniques doesn't mean that you're finished with your processing. Once I do these types of things, it's common for me to then go into maybe curves and add an S curve and do something like this to add a little bit more contrast. I might also go in and use a curves dialog, grab my medium tonality dropper here, the gray dropper, and set a gray point and click around and find somewhere that I like what the effect is better, or the tonalities are better by clicking around. I like that better, and so forth. And doing your 20-50-0 unsharp mask move to add more pop would be a logical thing to do. You still need to sharpen. You might need to use NYX Viveza to work on some areas of color and fine-tune your image. But my point is, again, that techniques don't necessarily make an image great. You need to think through all of the other things that should be done in your normal workflow to fine-tune your images. Hopefully this has been helpful, and we'll see you next time.